Hiya Cole, great to meet up with you yesterday and do some further work on your game. Just a quick recap on the first part of the lesson, as yesterday's lesson fell largely into two parts: the work that we did on your mechanics and then really getting into the nitty gritty of tidying up that position at impact. And I'll do a subsequent recap for you and send you some skills across in regards to that a little bit later on in the day. First of all, if we look at you from down the target line at the start of your session, really strong setup position, taking the club back. Pretty good. That right arm still folding a little bit and bending a little bit. As that happens, the elbows start to divide, and if we're not careful, we can get a little bit long and a little bit across the line. You can see there the club in a lovely position, and then it just sort of loosens up and shifts to the right as you complete your backswing, and then there's a slight steepening of the shaft as you're starting down. So just compromising things there at the completion of your backswing. When we look at it from face on, as the elbows divide, it gives the impression that the left arm is bending. So we get a little bit bent with the left arm at P4. And then as we start down, that left arm stays bent. So we're narrowing the circumference of the swing, but we're doing it the wrong way. And at P5, we look like we've got a little bit of extra load on the shaft, but we've also got a bent left arm. So if I was to sort of straighten that left arm out, this shaft would end up going at 90 degrees. So it's a little bit of a false position, elbows divided. So that second accumulator gets dumped a little bit too early and the elbows are divided. We're just a little bit underneath it coming into the golf ball. Release point quite wide, nowhere near over the top of the ball, which is something we're going to work on a little bit later. Looking at your transition, you can see your left knee doesn't really do a great deal early in the piece, but then from P5 onwards really gets its skates on and gets out in front of you. But that sequence needs to be improved long term. What we've done here is ask you to make some swings simply by keeping the elbows together, particularly emphasising it from P3 to P4. Right arm doesn't bend quite as early. Elbows together, much better shaft position at the top. A little bit short. These were just some 3/4 swings that you were doing at the start of your session, but you can see now as you come down, the move isn't compromised. There's no twisting of the shaft as you start down. When viewed from face on, we see a much better look at the top of the backswing, really solid at that point. Much straighter left arm. And then as we start down, we can see that now at P5, we don't appear to have the same amount of loading in the shaft that we had in this footage. So a little bit of a false position when viewed from face on. With the elbows together, P6 is looking a little bit tidier. We've closed the gap here between the butt of the club and the, if you will, the right hip. The right leg starting to straighten up a little bit more rather than kinking in a touch. And there's a fraction more lean on that shaft now than what we're seeing here, where the shaft is very vertical. Location of the hands is a little bit more forward. So the back of the left hand just a touch more forward than it was previously. But again, that all needs to be tidied up, largely as part of the second recap that I'm going to post for you later today. Overall, swing's coming on very nicely, but that's part one of your recap where we're just focusing on keeping the elbows together, P3 to P4. Much better extension through the ball these days as well. much better separation here between the upper and lower centre. Good luck with it. As I said, second recap's going to follow. Great working with you, and looking forward to some good results in the coming season. Well done.